So a few weeks ago, I found out that I have an identical twin, and we actually kind of saved the United States. That seems really weird and not probable, but let me tell you the journey that I've been through and what I learned from it. So it all started winter quarter. I was in Amber Lemire's English 101 class here at LCC, and the person who sat to my left, his name was Adam, and he was from the Sichuan district of Weixi, China. And Amber put us in a group for a project, and so we started talking and found out we had some similarities. We both loved music, and some of the music that we liked Rush, we liked the Beatles, we liked listening to Blink-182. His downfall that he had in his music loving, he loved Nickelback and he liked Miley Cyrus. And so we began hanging out a lot, and we played a lot of Halo 4, a little too much Halo 4, just got some bad grades. And I noticed that he carried around a little red notebook around with him. And after I said something stupid or I moved really awkwardly or something, he would write it down. And I didn't think that was too weird because he probably wrote it down to remember and tell his family when he went back to China about his crazy American friend that he had. And then that was cool, and then a few days later I noticed that he was copying some of my mannerisms and my gestures and everything. Thought that was a little creepy, but again, I was like, you know what, this is probably his way of kind of assimilating into the American society, trying to act like American. And then I invited him over again, we hung out, played a lot more Halo 4, Mountain Dew, Cheetos, stuff that's all bad for you. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to show him my most prized possession. So I went to my room, I grabbed a binder, opened it up, and I pulled out the first Pokemon card I ever got. And it was a Pikachu. And if you know even like the smallest tidbit of anything Pokemon, a Pikachu is the bomb. I mean, it's yellow and fuzzy, and it's awesome, and I look up and I'm telling Adam how much I love Pokemon, and he's crying. Great, this guy loves Pokemon more than I do, and I love it a lot. You can just ask any of the debate team members, they'll vouch for that. And then he's like, Ben, we just have so much in common. And at first I thought he was gonna ask me on some type of bro date, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for that. And he goes, Ben, we have so much in common, and you just loving Pokemon as much as I do, I can't take this anymore. Ben, I'm your identical twin, and I was sent here from China to kill you. Whoa! And he told me what was going on, and what had happened was back about 19 years ago, China adopted half of these sets of identical twins that were up for adoption. And they put them through boot camps and everything to learn karate moves or whatever, and to learn mannerisms, the gestures of their twin, and kill them and ultimately become them and start a communist uprising here in the United States. And after he told me this, I was like, what are we gonna do? We gotta catch them all. We have to do something. We have to. And he told me that, with the exception of him, that every other sleeper cell twin was allergic to marzipan. So we called up President Obama and we told him what was going on, and he initiated this thing called Operation Dr. Dan. And what Operation Dr. Dan was, hundreds of crop duster planes flying over the colleges and universities that these sleeper cell twins were at, filled with powdered marzipan. And as this happened, when they dropped the marzipan, the sleeper cell twins began sneezing uncontrollably. They had explosive diarrhea like you would have after a bad case of Taco Bell, and they ultimately died of dehydration. And we saved the United States from this communist uprising that was bound to happen. And when I look from the start of winter quarter till now, I made a friend, find out that he's my identical twin. We bonded even more off of a silly thing like Pokemon, which isn't silly, Tanner. And we saved the United States, and that's the experience I've had at LCC. Thank you.